that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in it. Oh man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Looking for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have them yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like, whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters, tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though. Want me on your song, throw a couple stacks, yo. Woo! Everybody wanna do the same thing. Yup, that's why we ain't on the same page. No, do my own thing and I maintain. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yeah, I'm going mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. I'm going mainstream. Mainstream. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream. Yup. I'm going mainstream. Damn. Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
Welcome into all of our amazing spectators here joining us on all three platforms. We've got YouTube running, we've got TikTok running, and we've got Facebook. Welcome in to round number 4 of the TGN Pro Series here at Brands Hatch GP, a very nice circuit for the BTCC cars. And obviously we've got our culmination of the 4 different BTCCs that get to take to the track today. My name is Tristan Herbst, and I'll be your commentator for today's racing. Yet again, the 4th round of the TGN Pro Series. And things are starting to scale up quite a bit between all of our drivers. It is indeed qualifying time here at Brands Hatch GP. A couple of our drivers already getting a couple of good laps in. Aratile Motsogosele currently tops it off right at the top of the leaderboard with a 129.8 and doing so at an incredible pace nonetheless. JP Goslet was sitting up in second position, but he's obviously being overtaken as more and more drivers come in for those laps. And there we see Kitso Magia now coming in with a 129.7, so just beating out Aratile's time by about 1/10 of a second. So it is highly competitive out there. We've already got the rivalry in our YouTube chat between Cape Town and Johannesburg, and always good to see them fighting it out on YouTube and both out on the track. Remember that we do have 3 participating TGN centers. I'm not too sure if we've got anyone from our Durban center, but there is the center in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and Durban that have the accessibility to be racing in TGN Pro Series. So if you're wanting to get involved for the next season, make sure you head down to your nearest center, get into those qualifying leaderboards once they get released, and you too could be seeing yourself out on the live stream here today. Before we progress any further into our qualifying session, let's go over our current race standings. Going into round number 4, out of round number 3. Christopher Long still sits up on top with 141 points to his name. Michael Lecoq sits just behind in second with 117 points. We then have Gio Sakio, who's managed to snuggle his way up into that 3rd position slot, the podium, with 102 points to his name. Ralph Schuster currently sits 4th, just 1 point behind Gio Sakio. Aratile Mosogotsele gets himself into 5th position, bumping out Jared Leask in the top 5, and Jared moves down into 6th position with 90 points to his name. Carl Williams just a bit further down in 7th position, 89 points to his name. Kitso Magia also a bit further down now, 86 points. Daniel Kent remains 9th with 83 points to his name, and Derek Truscott moves himself up into the top 10, knocking out the previous top 10 rider with 63 points to his name. And that is what our standings currently look like. And like I mentioned, it's going to be a highly competitive night of racing. We've got more people saying good evening, wishing the Cape Towns to win tonight. Then we've obviously got Time Bandit saying Johannesburg number 1, and we'll have to see how that goes. And Oliver Kent saying Daniel Kent, great racing evening. We've been to Brands Hatch. It's a great track. Absolutely. Phenomenal track out there in the United Kingdom. Very tight racing as well, especially if you've ever done it in the GT3 class of cars. Obviously, we've got pretty much the correct track and car combo. The British touring cars is indeed what we get to race out here, and they are out on track at a British circuit, and hence why we say it is such a good combination of car and track that we get to see the front wheel drive cars taking to the track here, trying to do everything that they can with the time frame that they've been given. Just remember that we do have our standard format running for round number 4. We've got our 3 heats running here tonight. Heat number 1 will be coming to you live right after qualifying. That is going to be your standard qualifying position-based heat. Heat number 2 is then going to be your reverse grid based on the finishing positions of heat number 1. And then heat number 3 is going to be your chaos grid, which indeed last time around was not chaotic at all. So from previous round number 3, we did a bit of a post-race analysis for our drivers, and which was great fun for the drivers to get a little bit of insight on what they can do better and what they can fix. And boy, I got to tell you, there was about 5 clips from race number 1, 5 clips from race number 2, and only 1 clip from race number 3. So our drivers really did improve over time as the night went on, and began driving a little bit better. And always great to see our drivers slowly but surely improving their lap times as they continue to race here at the TGN Pro Series. As I mentioned again, if you're wanting to get yourself involved, there is multiple events that run weekly here at all 3 of the TGN racing centers all across South Africa. We've got our Wednesday night racing, 3 sessions, all running about 45 minutes in length. That's random car, random track, and a whole lot of fun if you're wanting to get into sim racing. Thursday night is obviously your TGN Pro and your TGN Rookie Series that race obviously 2 weeks each in a row, which is great stuff to see. Friday is your half price Friday, so if you're wanting to get involved and you've never had the pocket to come and try something like this, it is half price every single Friday at all 3 of your TGN Racing Simulator centers, and so you do want to head down there on those Fridays. Saturday is going to be your Super Saturdays, where we get to race a couple of GT3s and our V8s And then Sunday, the first of every single month, is your TGN Endurance Series. Unfortunately, this week's one is not going to have any commentary. It's just going to be a simple auto cam and auto bot that's going to be watching it like we used to have in the back. Unfortunately, that's just due to the Easter weekend. It is a bit of a more busy weekend for most, and so we will just be having a standard broadcast with just the cameras. And indeed, that it's still going to be lots of racing, obviously, and that's that Sunday. We're still going to get the full view of all of our drivers. And Oliver Kent, thanks for the great commentary, Tristan. Absolutely. Always here to provide a show. But I can't lie to you, there wouldn't be great commentary without great drivers. And you've got to have drivers to give you a show, right? If you don't have a good show out on track, it's very difficult to make something out of it. And I fortunately get the privilege to say that I don't have a struggle doing that because we've got so much action up and down our grid, whether it's good fighting, a little bit of bad fighting, which obviously gets rectified later on. But it's always just a great time here at the TGN Pro Series that we get to see. We've also got loads of people in our TikTok live, about 56 currently watching live as we go around track. 447 likes already. Let's try and aim to get 5,000 likes in this stint of racing here tonight. And hopefully we can hit that goal. So if you are watching live on TikTok right now, make sure to spam that like button as many times as you can in order to help us hit that 5,000 likes goal. We're also closing in on our 8,000 followers goal. So if you're not already following, make sure you hit that follow button on our TikTok live to not miss out on any of the future streams that come your way from TGN Racing Simulators. There is so much going on this year and so much more to come. I'm seeing the likes running in here as more and more people like the stream. Thank you so much to all of those who are liking the stream. It's great to see all the action. But for the time being, Kito Magia is unbeaten up at the top of qualifying. Currently still holding on to that 129.4. Omar Khan has found some grips as well for the Cape Town boys, sitting second position. And so for those who are having the rivalry in chat, it is currently Johannesburg up on top with Cape Town in second and then Johannesburg in third. So majority of a Johannesburg grid for your podium. And we'll have to see if any of our Cape Town drivers like Christopher Long, who currently leads in the championship, who seems to be struggling a bit. Oh, that's a bit of a track cut there from Christopher Long. And off the track, he will go again. Looks like he's struggling a little bit there in that Group Leon to keep all four out on track. And so we'll have to see how that goes. Thank you so much, Swish, for the follow. Great to see you joining in. I see you in both YouTube and TikTok. And great to see you culminating over both of them. Lovely to see you. Welcome into the racing action here tonight. You've joined in at the prime spot to watch the action here tonight. We're into qualifying, and qualifying hits overtime, which means officially the drivers have got this final lap, whatever they're on, to get that qualifying lap done and dusted. And once that lap's done, that is officially the session done deal for them. We'll obviously go through our starting procedure as well once we head onto the starting grid for race number one. We see JP Goslet heading into the pit. Ralph Schuster also trying to get one more lap in here before qualifying hits the end time. And we'll have to see. Just showing some love. Absolutely. We love it when our viewers show some love all across. And absolutely great to see it all across our social media platforms. Remember, we are also on Facebook. So if you have family members who want to watch in and they prefer Facebook as a social media platform to watch on, then we've also got the live stream running over there. YouTube and Facebook are going to have your two most enhanced streams just because they come purely straight from OBS, which means we get to show you all of our lovely overlays and features. Unfortunately, TikTok, they're a little bit greedy and they don't let us stream directly through OBS. We've got to come through their TikTok studio. And so we are slightly limited on the type of things we're allowed to show, especially just due to the fact that it cannot run on OBS and TikTok studio at the same time. But that is officially it for your qualifying session here for tonight's racing for heat number one. We've got a little bit of an intermission here before we head into our next race. And so we'll be back in approximately 5 minutes time. Don't go anywhere. Grab something to drink, maybe something to eat, but you better be back here in the next 4 minutes for the starting of our procedure.
We got millions of reasons to let it all go. Hope we're not too broken
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you better be back in your seats, ready for the action to take place, because it is officially time to get going here for the first race of tonight's running events. It is about 50 seconds to the countdown here before we get to the racing action. We do indeed have Mr. Kito Majia up in front, I believe. I know the system on the left-hand side is saying otherwise, but there we see Kito Majia, Michael de Kock, second position. Derek Truscott takes third, with Omar Khan fourth. Jared Lees takes fifth. Carl Williams sixth. Seventh for Daniel Kent, Session Governor, starting from the pit lane in eighth. Ninth position for Ralph Schuster. 11th position for JP Gosler. 12th position for Christopher Long. As I just want to quickly check something. No, we're all good. 13th for Vanny Obad. 14th for GS Kia. 15th, Dean Jacobs. 16th for Sean Norse. 17th for Tim Paul, 18th for Orotile Matsogosele. And that is indeed your running order here for tonight's racing. But it's all eyes on our race leaders as we head down towards turn number 1 at the Brands Hatch GP circuit. Our gantry lights have officially ignited, and it is about time to get racing here for tonight's racing action. It is lights out and away we go. Kitsumajia sits up on top though, up in front of all the rest of the drivers, heading down in towards turn number 1. It's a downhill right-hander that the drivers have got to manage in order to get the rotation of their car correct. There's already a bit of contact 3 wide though, coming down into turn number 1. And looks like we've got a great amount of action through the main pack of our story over here. The rest of the cars all piling on. It looks like we've had a pretty clean start to our race. Tevin and Session starting from the pit lane all the way at the backside, trying to keep nice and consistent. I see the virtual grandstands across all 3 platforms are going crazy. Someone's off, and someone has completely shot off of the track there. I'm not too sure who that is, down in 17th position, and that's Kyle Williams, who's unfortunately gone straight off of the track at that second corner, and off onto the grass he's gone. Not too sure what's happened to Kyle Williams there, but Michael de Kock has taken the start procedure and gone all the way up into P number 1, which is great work from his side. Kitso Majia has made an error and gone down all the way into 5th position here. Not even 1 lap done, and we've already got so much of a change up here in tonight's grid running. Michael de Kock now sits up in top with Derek Truscott just tailing behind him, with Jared Lees going a little bit off track there, and a couple of bumps from the backside. Jared Lees actually loses out majorly, down to 10th position now, and so something's definitely happened there with Jared Lees. Not going to be happy about that one. Michael de Kock still leads off on this race, 1.7 seconds ahead. Derek Truscott trailing in his wake right now, trying to keep up, and a couple of our virtual grandstand members sending a couple of grinned faces there. We haven't had the best of starts here, as we see door-to-door rubbing there between Ralph Schuster and Christopher Long as they come across the final corner. It is a very, very sharp and technical circuit here at Brands Hatch GP, and you do have to watch out how you take certain amounts of corners here. Going down into turn number 1, the sharp downhill right-hander, you've got to watch out with the braking to not block those brakes. There is ABS on the BTCC cars, but you can still lose the car if you are not careful. Michael de Kock, though, indeed is looking good, as we see Jack Lent saying in the virtual grandstand, and he has really found himself some pace here, 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the grid, and making sure that he stays well aware and well ahead of the rest of them. Good amount of fighting, though, going on between. We see Josek here up in the middle right now, trying to get up towards the top of Ralph Schuster, and JP Gosler just a bit further behind him. Vanny Obad also sitting in the wake right now of Sean Norse, and just behind is Jared Lees, who we saw go off a couple of seconds ago. Tevin Paul has been able to stay nice and safe with that pit entry, with the pit lane start, and a bit further behind in 13th position. He's obviously avoided the contact that happened towards the beginning side of this race, and that's fortunate for him to keep out of the running in terms of staying out of any incidents. But up in front, it is still Michael de Kock as we try and scale towards the mid part. There's Vanny Obert in the background, who's just lost off onto the sand there. Very unfortunate to see him going off, and seems like he's made a bit of an error coming onto the right-hand loopers, and off onto the sand gravel traps he goes. That's not going to be great for his overall speed here in these cars. And we'll have to see how this is going to work, as we do see Ralph Schuster now side by side with JP Goslet coming into the final corner. This is going to be a tight fight between the two of them, and almost contact, but JP Goslet has done a phenomenal job at getting ahead of Ralph Schuster, and you can see it just from the back angle how Ralph Schuster is just starting to fade away now, just in the background, and trying to make his way up. We'll get that cam for the wheel, and it seems like our wheel has just disappeared in our cars. That's okay though. It's definitely there for our drivers, so we don't have to watch out for them not being able to control their car. A bit behind, I do hear Dean Jacobs having a bit of a shout down on the virtual floor, and I do see him slightly slow. He has also fallen towards the backside, so behind Kyle Williams he goes now, and seems like he's unfortunately had a bit of a tough one in the first sector there. We do have the virtual grandstand saying that the understeer is crazy on this track, and I think we should generalize that and just say that the understeer is crazy on these cars in general. They are very front weight oriented, and obviously being front wheel drive cars, all that weight just gets slammed on the front axle. It's very difficult to get the car to rotate at high speeds. And that's what we're seeing, especially with such a technical circuit such as Brands Hatch India. It does get, not Brands Hatch India, apologies, Brands Hatch GP. It does get a little bit difficult for the cars to get those rotation marks done and dusted. As you now see Jared Leesk, Sean Norsk, side by side with each other. Into the right-hander they go. Can they keep it nice and clean? Indeed they can. Great move to keep the defensive line there from Sean Norsk. But Jared Leesk is not done with the attack. Around the outside, he's going to go in the Corolla, and he's made it work. What a great overtake from Jared Leesk. Over the curve he goes, but he's kept it within the track limits, and Sean Norris can do absolutely nothing about it. He has to just stay behind and wait for a moment to overtake. But just behind is Omar Khan, trying to work his way around the likes of Sean Norris and trying to find a way in that Vauxhall to get up ahead of the drivers in front. And now he's looking on the outside line, but Sean Norris moves under braking. A little bit of a dirty move there from Sean Norris, moving to the left-hand side, under brakes, and catching Omar Khan. A little bit unpredictable there in that situation. Fortunately, nothing too chaotic between those drivers. Ralf Schuster now also fighting yet again with the likes of Gio Sakir and trying to move up on this grid. Ralf Schuster, we know, very, very competitive driver here in the pack of our Pro Series drivers, and trying to work his way up in terms of the grid positionings, and it seems like he's made it work. Gio Sakir gets booted down to 7th position with Ralf Schuster moving up, and now they've got to watch out because here comes JP Goslet on the backside of all four of them. And this is going to turn into a four-way fight between the four of them. Jared Leesk has joined in as well to make it four-way. So this is going to be quite an interesting one to watch, as we do see the race leaders. Unfortunately, not much action going on there. Michael de Kock, that Ford Fiesta is quite quiet right now. And Daniel Kent has got a little bit of pressure behind. Oratile Motsogotsele, one of the most consistent drivers out on the pack in the TGN Pro Series, is right on the backside. Someone's gone wide. Someone's completely lost the car in the background. And I'm trying to find out who it is. Trying to see, I don't know if they were able to save it. It could have been Sean Norris possibly, and just saw someone jumping over the curbing there and just not successful in that run. As you do see Michael Lecoq up in front, still running with Derek Truscott just a bit further behind, trying to make his way up. Daniel Kent also a bit further. JP Goslet just in the stream and the wake now with Jared Leesk a bit further behind. On the outside line, what can he do to get around Gio Sakir? The outside line is very deadly at the Brands Hatch GP circuit. Is he going to get forced off circuit? He is slightly. He does go over the white line, but he has been able to keep it on the outside there of Gio Sakir and not getting any form of bad advantage. And so Jared Leesk falls behind Gio Sakir. Yeah, 7 minutes have gone past. Down in 17th is Carl Williams yet again, but I believe he's coming for his pit stop possibly, as there is a mandatory pit stop that all of our drivers have to go through in order to make it towards the inside of this race. Kito Majia still behind Omar Khan as they continue pushing on strong here. We're going to have to wait and see how the mid-pack fight escalates and changes, with Jared Leesk, Gio Sakir also still behind, following in a wake. And then you see the flashes from Jared Leesk. He's trying to find a way around. He's going to go up on the inside line of Gio Sakir. There's contact. Massive contact. Gio Sakir goes sideways, but what a brilliant catch from Gio Sakir to keep it out of the inside wall. Unfortunately, it still goes to the outside wall, and JP Goslet loses out as well through that corner. So a little bit of an incident happening there between Gio Sakir, Jared Leesk, and JP Goslet. They all moved down the grid, unfortunately, and Gio Sakir, the ultimate winner here, has been able to save his car as well as his position. Jared Leesk, the least affected out of all of them, and I believe the one who might have begun the contact there between the three of them. I'm not 100% sure, and might have to go back and have a look at that, but he still remains up in 6th position with Ralf Schuster just up in front. He's got to watch out, though, because Omar Khan is seeking on the backhand side. Never mind, he's not anymore, because Jared Leesk comes into the pit lane now to get it all nice and served before the end of this race. Christopher Long still sitting down in 11th position. He just exits the pit lane, I believe. And no, he does not. Apologies. Fighting alongside Session Governor now, actually pushing the fellow driver off track. That's a bit of a dirty move there, Christopher Long. And pushing Session right off of the track barrier there. And forcing him to try and regain some traction on the circuit. Up in front, though, Ralf Schuster still trying to make his way up. But there's a massive gap between himself and Daniel Kent as it stands. 4.5 seconds that he's got to fight for, with Daniel Kent still sitting in 4th position. Oratile Mosogotsele still sitting up in 3rd position, playing the consistency game over here. He's managed to get up into the podium spots, about 3 seconds away from Derek Truscott. And usually we see Oratile getting an early pit stop in to avoid the traffic and gain from the undercut. But this time around, he's in a great position from his qualifying, and he gets to sit up in 3rd and try and control the race from this angle. Michael de Kock, though, is unfortunately lost that lead because from 2 seconds, it's broken down to 5/10. Derek Truscott now just on the backside, and you can see how he's slowly starting to approach to challenge the lead of this race. We could potentially see a change for the lead here coming towards the end of it. We are about reaching the halfway mark in tonight's racing. Tevin Paul down 9th with Gio Sakia currently sitting up in 8th position. Still, the pit stops do still need to happen between our drivers, but this is why I love Brands Hatch GP, is because of how small and compact the circuit is. You don't see as much separation between our drivers that you see at slightly bigger circuits. It's nice and compact for our drivers to keep the fighting on. The track is also very narrow, which means that there's not too much of a separation along the left and right hand side. The drivers have to worry about constantly keeping within their width. Dean Jacobs seems to have missed his pit box, as I did hear him complaining down on the floor again. I did see that car shifting slightly as well, so not too happy about that one. And unfortunately for him, that's going to be a little bit of time lost in the pit stop. Jared Lees comes in for his pit stop a couple of laps earlier and comes out in 15th position. And Session Governor also just coming out of the pit stops now. So a couple of our drivers getting those pit stops done and dusted, but most up in the front are still yet to come in. We officially passed the halfway mark of this race. 10 minutes left to go of this high pursuit action racing. And it's all down to the drivers to chase on to Michael de Kock, who sets the pace currently for this race. 4 seconds ahead of Oratile Motsogotsele, who still needs to obviously try and catch up now to Michael de Kock, because Derek Truscott has come into the pit lane and he comes out in 12th position. So now, what can Oratile do to reduce the time between himself and Michael de Kock? It's the two green cars storming at the lead of this race, the green Fiesta and the green Toyota Corolla XR. We'll have to wait and see. Toyota GR, sorry, Toyota Corolla GR, not XR. The XR is the standard model you see out on the street. This is the GR version, and we get to see it ripping it out on the circuit here at Brands Hatch GP. As we see a couple of drivers now coming in. Michael de Kock comes in, Daniel Kent and Oratile Motsogotsele come in, but who stays out? It's Mr. Ralph Schuster, who tries to stay out for the overcut strategy over here, and he will indeed take the lead of this race with 9 minutes left to go, but he does still have to come in for a pit stop. But look at that positions gained, 14 positions up for Ralph Schuster. And what a great amount of moves he's made here in tonight's racing to shift his balance up into P1. P2 still from Kitso Magia, who shifts up also from not doing his pit stop. Michael de Kock comes out in 3rd position, now down to 4th, obviously. So Derek Truscott has undercut the race leader here. If you remember, the distance between the two of them was about 5/10, but Derek Truscott, slightly faster in his pit stop, has been able to completely undercut Michael de Kock, and he sits up ahead now. And so provisional pole goes to the blue Cooper Leon of Derek Truscott, as he now leads the charge ahead of the likes of Michael de Kock. Ralph Schuster, Kitso Magia still yet to come into the pit lane. The Vauxhall will eventually need to come in to get some fresh rubber on. Same with that Cooper Leon, the red maroon Cooper Leon, the X1 car of Ralph Schuster will need to come in eventually to get that car nice and serviced and ready to go for the next half of this race. But further behind, though, it is still Tevin Paul catching up to Gio Sakia ever so closely and trying to make his way around Session Governor, but further in the background, also doing his best. Vanny Obert, after having that incident early on in this race, unfortunately knocks him down a bit and currently sits in 14th position, making his way around track. Dean Jacobs has not had the greatest of nights yet again here tonight, and as he sits down in 15th position, and hoping he can keep the running going here before the end of this race to possibly render a couple better results here towards the end of the cycle. I'll hope to see how that looks for him. There we see the two up in front coming into the pit lane. Ralph and Kitso dive into that pit box, and the question is, will the overcut work, or will they be forced to go all the way to the backside of the grid? Derek Truscott comes around and indeed takes the lead of the race back. Michael de Kock sits in 2nd position. There we see Kitso Magia and Michael de Kock, Kitso Magia and Ralph Schuster, apologies, now coming out of the pit lane. So they're going to be rejoining roughly in the middle of the P5 fight over here, just behind 7th and 8th actually. So they do lose a couple of positions here in the pit stops, and a bit of a, almost a bit of a dangerous rejoin there coming from Ralph Schuster. Well, not necessarily a dangerous rejoin, but just the driver on the outside line that he almost didn't avoid. As we now see Jared Lees putting the pressure on Carl Williams. The undercut has worked stellar for Carl Williams, moving from the backside of this grid after the incident all the way up into 5th position, and this is his net position, meaning no more pit stops needing to be done. So if he holds on to this could be a top 5 finish for Carl Williams. And if we remember those championship standings, he currently sits in 7th position, trying to work his way up. So this could be good points for him on the board. Same with Oratile Motsogotsele, Daniel Kent, Michael Koch, and Derek Truscott. And I believe Derek Truscott, if we have a look, is currently sitting in 10th position, and currently sitting first in heat number 1, is going to greatly improve his points coming towards the end of this race. So let's hope he can keep it nice and tight coming towards the last 6 minutes here. and he could earn himself his first win of the season here for the first season of 2026 for the TGN Pro Series. And yet I dare say, you can see it in the bottom left that we've got the beautiful logo of Master Drive, as that is the complimentary, well, not complimentary, the additional sponsor coming into the TGN Pro Series. There will be a couple of vouchers and goodies given out by TGN to the winner of the TGN Pro Series, but as well as a advanced driving course given by Master Drive. And that's obviously an in-person driving course, so that just shows you can get some of the real-life track experience and real-life driving experiences from being good at sim racing. And it's great to see that the market is indeed evolving. The more you get involved in sim racing, the more you can indeed get involved in real life. And it's great to see lots of people around the world also trying to get more involved in it. And it's great to see that TGN has indeed hopped on that bandwagon as well to get a couple of our drivers into those real-life positions and potentially create some careers out of it. But still, into this race, 5 minutes left to go. Kyle Williams is now putting pressure, actually, to break into that top 5. He was sitting top 5, but unfortunately, to the pit stops, he's moved down, and Jared Lees takes the top 5 position currently as he holds off from Kyle Williams, trying to catch up to Oratile, but it's about a 4-second gap between them, the two of them. So Oratile will now be trying to push on towards the likes of Daniel Kent. We're going to have to wait and see if he's going to be able to catch him come towards the end of this race. But Derek Truscott is on an absolutely different playing field here tonight. 1.2 seconds of a gap built up to Michael de Kock. And if you remember from the start of this race, Michael de Kock absolutely pulled away from the rest of this grid, and Derek Truscott was not able to keep up. But now it seems the roles have switched, and Derek Truscott moves up into first position, and Michael de Kock is not able to break that 1.5 second gap down. And looks like Derek Truscott just setting faster and faster laps every single lap he comes around. And this is going to be great points on the board if he can keep this up. Omar Khan in the middle of that pack right now on the backside of Ralph Schuster. We've been seeing these two fighting it out for quite some time. As Kyle Williams, down to 8th position. I wonder what happened to Kyle Williams. He was fighting with Jared Lees, but it seems like something's happened as he moves down to 8th. And Omar Khan, as well as Ralph Schuster, have both moved up into attacking positions here in 6th and 7th position. Kitso Majia also trying to find his wake. If you remember, Kitso started P1 in this race, unfortunately down to 9th position, and has not been the greatest of races yet tonight for him. Gio also trying to make his way around in 10th position. I'm hearing another person complain out in field, and I'm not too sure who that might be, but I'm sure it will show on the map. I'm not seeing anybody going off in the top right-hand side, so it looks like we still keep on going. KLM Pace joins us in the virtual grandstand. Lovely to see you here, good sir. We do indeed have the racing going. The racing has been going for the last 17 minutes, and 3 minutes left to go here for all the action. Derek Truscott holds up in front. Michael de Kock not able to keep up. While he is breaking it down slightly, it's not going to be enough if he cannot increase the time that he gains over the next couple of laps. 3 minutes left, about 2 or so laps to go here before the end of our charter around Brands Hatch. For round number 1, I'm seeing smoke and I'm seeing a potential spin. Nope, that was just a brake lock, fortunately, as I've seen nobody on our track map disappearing or going off of the racing line. The rest of the drivers still working their way around, as we see Session Governor now also making his way in the mid-pack fighting over here. We see him just behind Gio as he goes completely off circuit. That's not going to do too much of a good thing to that top speed, as we now see Christopher Long making his way past Session Governor and moving up into the top 10 position. Christopher not having the best of nights here. Our current championship leader now on the outside line of Kyle Williams, and that was not a clean move whatsoever. Tries to cut over the nose, and Kyle Williams was not having it, and there's been contact. It's now 3 wide almost going down into turn number 1. Christopher Long from 10th all the way down to 12th position, just due to one bad move, unfortunately, and that forces him all the way down yet again. Kyle Williams and Gio Sakia have been able to keep themselves up in the running. There's contact again as Gio Sakia makes contact on the backside of Kyle Williams and gets up on that position. So very, very unfortunate to see there. Kyle Williams has been able to get himself up to P5, now all the way down to P10 again, just due to a couple of incidents. Both a mixture of own self-inflicted incidents and drivers just not giving him an easy day out on track here for heat number 1. And very unfortunate to see him dropping off into this race. But Gio Sakia gets himself up to 8th position after that rear tap on the backside of Kyle Williams. And we'll have to see what he can do. Session Governor is looking hungry for a position gain here. The I-30N is trying to make his way around in that blue teal car. And hopefully he can do something in the next 1 minute and 30 seconds to give us even more action out on the grid. Daniel Kent rounding around here in 4th position has just not got enough in the tank to try and get ahead of Oratile Motogotsele. It's going to be a hard fight to get up to Oratile, one of the more consistent drivers, like I've already mentioned in TGN Pro Series. And you really do see Oratile going off the track by himself. He puts in the hours, he puts in the practice, and he is able to keep that car dead center on track. He may not be the fastest driver out on grid, but in all honesty, the safety rating and the consistency is far more important than being a hot lapper. And indeed, that is what he focuses on. Jared Lee still sitting 6th position. Ralph Schuster has been able to snatch away 5th position for the time being from Jared Leesk, and will sit there for the rest of this race. But 50 seconds left to go. It's all going to depend where Derek Truscott is, and there he is coming through turn number 4. And this is indeed going to be the final lap of today's racing for heat number 1. We still have 2 more heats coming to you live, so you don't get to go anywhere. Please don't go anywhere. You got to stay for all of the racing action. Make sure you hit that like button as much as you can in the TikTok live to create those beautiful chains. We're trying to get to 5,000 likes by the end of tonight's stream, and I think it's definitely doable. Currently at 1,504 new followers. Thank you so much to our 4 new followers. If you are new and you're interested in the racing action, make sure that you hit that like button and you follow for all the action that TGN will be providing over the course of the rest of the year. It is a very, very busy year here for TGN, and multiple races coming to you live on all 3 platforms. So you want to make sure that you are 100% in the loop and you do not fall off whatsoever. Michael de Kock, though, in second. But here comes the race winner, the man who's worked hard and put in the practice. And Derek Truscott is going to come across the checkered flag for race number 1 as the winner. Michael de Kock takes second with Oratile Matsogotsele just sitting in 3rd position. 4th position coming from Daniel Kent, with Ralph Schuster taking 5th. Jared Lees will take 6th, with Kitsumajia taking 7th. Gio Sakia takes 8th position. 9th will go to Session Gamanda as he fights behind. And Kyle Williams, unfortunately, a bit of a rough day out on track, down in 10th. Fanny Obert is going to take 11th, with Christopher Long just on the backside, who will take 12th position. JP Goslet, also a bit of a rough one for him, down in 13th. And Tevin Paul will be taking 14th. 15th for Omar Khan, 16th for Sean Norse. And our final driver out on the grid, 17th position for the likes of Dean Jacobs, as we wait for him to come across the checkered flag. But if you thought the racing was interesting, boy oh boy does it get even more interesting. We've got a reverse grid coming to you for heat number 1, for heat number 2. So make sure you stay within the loops. Do not go anywhere for a long time. We'll be back in approximately 6 or so minutes before we head to heat number 2. We'll see you shortly, and be back. Have something to drink and eat, because heat number 2 is going to be wild.
There ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star.
Didn't even get to cross.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
You're looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad, I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get a glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't shining like it's neon, rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then never just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then never just have to leave. Yeah, shoot, 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 shoot. Yeah, shoot, shoot. Yeah, shooting, shooting, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars, shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
If you haven't already, make sure that you hit a like on all of the streaming platforms that we're live on tonight. It's YouTube, it's TikTok, and it is indeed Facebook. There is loads of places for you to watch the action. JP Goslet in the reverse grid starts up in front position with Dean Jacobs, Tevin Paul, Sean Norse, Omar Khan, Vanio Barrett, Kyle Williams, Christopher Long, Session Governor, Jerry Sakia, Daniel Kent, Kitsu Majia, Jared Lees, Ralph Schuster, Aratile, Michael Lecoq, and Derek Truscott starts all the way at the backside here in the reverse grid. That is the only downside of coming in first position for race number 1, is you get booted all the way down to the back. In race number 2, the gantries are out and is officially lights out, and away we go. The drivers are out and ready to go. And Dean Jacobs, Sean Norse has gotten a great start in this race. Unfortunately, doesn't look like the best of starts there for the likes of JP Gosling. He drops all the way down to 3rd position, but what a great start there for Sean Norse as he moves up into P number 1 for the time being. Van at back, that says he's up in front, but he's not. And it is currently Sean Norse with Omar Khan trailing just a bit further behind. Unfortunately for the likes of JP Gosling, he gets forced out wide in the background. Kyle Williams is also trying to make his way up and potentially have a bit of a better race here in today's racing instead of what he had in the first race. Someone's off. Massive crash into the wall there and a huge incident in the background. And I believe that might be involvement with Christopher Long in the back over there. And indeed it is. Christopher Long face planted into the wall and all the way to the backside of the grid. 17th place out of the entire list of drivers right now. And that is extremely unfortunate to see from the runners over here. And the rest of the drivers still trying to cascade upwards. Dean Jacobs in a bit of a fight with himself over here with Ralph Schuster all alongside each other trying to make up positions. in this race. It is only 2 minutes that have gone by, and indeed, massive incident that we're seeing in the virtual grandstand, also saying it. An unfortunate one as well. I'm not too sure what happened there, but it looks like someone got clipped. They hit the wall, which was Christopher Long, and then bounced back on track in the middle of a bunch of other drivers, and unfortunately, as a result, we got a couple of cars taken out in that corner. And indeed, tough one, Chris. Still a long race to go is what the virtual grandstand says. Indeed it is. 18 minutes still to go. We saw the same happening to Carl Williams, and he was still able to recover a top 10, if not better, without a couple of the incidents that he had. So there is still a lot to play for in this race. Sean Norse moves down to third position as Omar Khan shuffles up into P1. 1 second ahead already, with Carl Williams now moving up into second position, really taking it by control in this race. And JP Gosling, on the curbing. That's a bit of an illegal one there from JP Gosling. He's got to watch out, giving a bit of a tap there to Sean Norse. And I did hear the complaint from Sean Norse just down on the floor as JP Gosling just going off the track a bit there. A bit of an unfair one, but fortunately no car's gone around, and so it won't be looked at in too much detail. Fortunately for them, they all keep nice and clean. Kitsumajia just a bit further behind as well, holding down in 8th position. Michael Lecoq down in 10th position. Oratile, unfortunately, with the reverse grid, down to 13th position with that top 4 finish. And as he sits currently in a bit of a battle with Ralph Schuster and Dean Jacobs, he's going to get past Ralph Schuster though into the next corner. And Dean Jacobs up in front is going to be into high pressure now. 2 very fast and consistent drivers on his backside trying to get past, and Dean Jacobs is going to be feeling a world of pressure right now that we can see on that car cam. And as you can see just in the background is indeed Oratile Motsogotele, who's been able to get up in front. Oratile now on the inside line, and Dean Jacobs having to hold off from both of them. It's going to be a hard fight for him, and he's got to watch out for Ralph Schuster just a bit further behind on that train. Tevin Paul's also been able to attach on, which is great to see, and we'll hope that he can keep it up and running here. But Omar Khan, massive gains up in front. 2 seconds ahead of Carl Williams, and the fastest lap just being set by the driver as well. Sean Norse trying to keep his streak up there in 3rd position, with Session Governor behind. In 4th, 5th is Jared Leesk with Kitsumajia just down in 6th position for the time being. Daniel Kent has been able to work his way up into 7th position and hopefully break up into those top 5s. Remember that there is still a mandatory pit stop that needs to be done in this race. So all the drivers will have to come into the pit box, get it nice and served up, get some new rubber and some new fuel in that car, and make it towards the end of this race. If they do not pit, A, they will be disqualified for not completing the mandatory, and B, they physically will not make it towards the end of the race. They will not have enough fuel, nor will they have the tire life, and they will get a couple of punches here or there, which will definitely slow them down and prevent them from finishing the race as a whole. But further behind though, Michael Lecoq still trying to make his way back up. JP Gosling starting 1st position, unfortunately all the way down to 8th position for the time being, and trying to work his way up, but it's going to be a bit of a tough one to do that. Dean Jacobs in a bit of a long way fight here with the likes of Derek Truscott. Derek just not able to get up towards the top runnings here in this race. Remember that he finished P1 in race number 1, which booted him all the way to the back in the second heat. Reverse grid, as we've got contact there. That's Kitsumajia, who's been knocked off track, unfortunately, and very unfortunate to see that bump. I believe that came from Derek Truscott, and he falls off the racing line, unfortunately. But to be fair, could have been a lot worse for the driver. Fortunately, he is still indeed in the race, and he's got a lot of time to play with. Oratile Motsogosele trying to catch up to Ralph Schuster now, and Ralph Schuster on the backside of Sean Norse. He's going to be making a move in the next couple of corners, and you can see how close he's starting to get right on the backside now of Sean Norse, and he's going to be looking possibly on the inside through the next couple of corners. Lots of smoke in the downhill braking zone as those brakes begin to lock up. The driver's just not getting the braking and the rotation marker dead in the center, and it does indeed cause a little bit of a lockup on the rear as the rest of the drivers still trying to make their way around, as we do see a couple going off track in the background. But for the time being, Jared Leesk, the driver who seems to run with the headlights on the entire time in the mid-pack. I heard another person complaining. I don't know if it was Sean Norse in 10th position. He did lose out to Oratile, who moves up into 10th position, or if it was possibly Dean Jacobs down in 13th. They both sound very similar out on the floor, as Omar Khan still leads up in 1st position currently, just behind Carl Williams, who's been able to nail down on that time. It was 2 seconds between the two of them, but Carl Williams slowly but surely catching up here. And so whoever we had in the virtual grandstand, I believe it was Brittany Smith, who was cheering on Carl Williams. You're going to have a good one here, because Carl Williams is starting to catch up to Omar Khan for the lead of this race in heat number 2. And let's hope that he can do it and give us a bit of a competition up in front. Session Governor in an absolutely great spot here to get himself a good amount of points. Session Governor was in the top 10 heading into round number 3, but got booted out by Derek Truscott. But now he sits in 3rd position. Hopefully he can make up some ground here And even after the pit stops, maybe we can see a podium here for our new driver to the TGN Pro Series. It is his first season running in the TGN Pro Series, which is absolutely phenomenal to see. JP Goslet feeling the pressure, though, from Michael de Kock. Actually, Daniel Kent on the inside line now, and still just holding on. It is going to be JP Goslet on the outside in the Cupra Leon, and it is going to be Daniel Kent on the inside in the Toyota Corolla Exxon on the inside. What a dive from Daniel Kent, fully legal move, and makes it work. 100% splendid, and great move there from Daniel Kent to keep himself up running in this race. GF Sakir a bit further behind is going to start to feel the pressure here from Ralf Schuster, who goes a little bit wide off track. That's going to be a bit of a penalty or an off-track violation, just due to sticking all four wheels past the white line of the inner part of the circuit. And still following on behind, Ralf Schuster on GF Sakir. A bit further behind, just behind them as well, is going to be the battle for 9th position. It's Oratile to Sean Norse, and Derek Truscott also starting to gain in. I see we've got loads of people joining in on our TikTok live. Make sure that you slam that like button, and if you are new to the TGN platform, make sure that you give us a follow to not miss any of our future streams. We're going to be live on these platforms every second or every Thursday, so make sure that you keep on watching. What a move from Daniel Kent that we see in the virtual grandstand. Indeed, it was a phenomenal move, and it was a crucial move as well, because he gets himself up into 4th position and the potential to potentially get up into the podiums if he can get the pit stops right. Here he's already on the backside of Session Governor, and it looks like he might be able to do it before the pit stops even happen. Onto cockpit camera. It's going to be on the outside line here for the likes of Daniel Kent. You can see it on the camera now of Session Governor. It's going to be on the outside. We'll go onto the rear view camera here just to have a look. And Daniel Kent tries the undercut. It looks like he's going to be somewhat successful as he goes onto the inside line here of Session Governor. Another move. Exact same position for Daniel Kent. And he is finding all the positions on the turn 2 hairpin just after the downhill. And 2 positions in 2 laps. Daniel Kent moves up into 3rd position here. What a great bit of running from Daniel Kent. With about 10 minutes or so left to go of running, this has put him in a great spot to get himself some good points on the board. And let's hope that he can do so. Omar Khan still heading up in front, 1.3 seconds away from Carl Williams, and seems to be extending the gap yet again, which is great to see. 2,000 likes on the TikTok live. Let's try and get it to 5 before the end of the night. And Oliver Kent saying, go Daniel. And he is doing an incredible job in 3rd position currently to get that car up and rolling towards the top spots. And Daniel Kent on a good roll to get himself going towards the top spots in terms of P1 or possibly P2 at the end of the night. The virtual grandstand, Cape Town top 3, 11 minutes to go. And lovely to see the Cape Town guys completely taking over the podium spots. And with just 11 minutes left to go, with Session Governor tailing behind, this is looking good. I'm hearing lots of screaming down on the floor. That looks like Sean Norse. Indeed it is. I heard the scream of Sean Norse, and he's made a crucial error coming into the second last corner and just missing the braking zone. You can lose the rear very easy under the braking if you do not watch out for that corner, and the exact thing has happened there for Sean Norse, and he's gone wide into the barriers, unfortunately, and down to 13th position he will go. Not going to be happy about that one. Virtual Grand saying Johannesburg needs to push. Indeed they do. And unfortunately, it looks like a Session Governor is coming to the pit lane, so it's actually going to be a top 4 lockout for the Cape Town guys, as Ralf Schuster, now the only Johannesburg guy in the top 5, trying to hold on. Derek Truscott, also Cape Town in 6th position. So Cape Town really trying to claim it all over here in the second heat. And seems like they're doing it with a phenomenal job nonetheless. But it's all going to change up with those pit stops. The slower you are in the pits, the longer you lose out on track, and that's going to be the crucial play here in this race. Officially at the halfway mark, 10 minutes left to go, and it's all down to the drivers of what they can do to bring it past. And Omar Khan, massive commendations to him. He's in the slightly more difficult car to drive. I believe only 2 of them on our entire grid, himself and Kitsumajia in those Vauxhalls. The rest of the drivers pretty much hogging the Cupra Leons, the Fiestas, and the Toyota Corollas. A couple of Hyundai i30s in there as well. But the Vauxhall, the least chosen car in the first season of 2026. And Omar Khan proving that car choice is just a mindset and putting it up on top with a 1 second to go, a 1 second gap to Carl Williams. Never mind, that 1 second gap has been eradicated as Carl Williams comes in to get that pit stop done. He's going for the undercut on Omar Khan, and we'll have to wait and see if it's going to work out. A couple more. Daniel Kent, JP Goslet, will Ralf Schuster be joining? Indeed he does. Derek Truscott joins as well. As you see, a couple of drivers hitting that pit barrier wall, just not exactly finding the correct spot to get the car slowed down. Lots and lots of our drivers coming into the pit stop. Sean Norse joins in as well. Session Governor might come as well. Gio Sakia is going for the overcut, though. He stayed out and is going to follow in the train of Omar Khan. So is Session Governor. He stays out. Michael de Kock a bit further behind in 11th position, and he also stays out as well. So a couple of our mid-pack drivers realizing that they've got enough clean air that they don't need to come into the pit lane and avoid that dirty air from degrading their car. It's almost a dangerous rejoin there from the likes of the pit stop exit there. It looks to be Jared Lees possibly, as Oretile Motsogotsele comes around. That was Derek Truscott, apologies, almost making contact around the corner, and that could have been a bit crucial. The virtual grandstand saying this will be a big move if the overcut is the better answer. Indeed, it will be, and this is why we have the mandatory pit stops, is to try and play the cards, because is it going to be the right move for Kyle Williams? He comes out in 3rd position, and we'll have to wait and see. The virtual grandstand cheering on Omar. Clean lap that he needs to put in, indeed, and it's got to be a fast lap as well if he wants it to count. Will Omar be coming into the pit stop? And indeed he is. So Omar Khan comes into service pit stop. Kyle Williams only coming around the top bankers now, and he's going to be coming into the second last corner while Omar Khan stops his car just about now. There we see Omar Khan stopped. Is it going to be enough for Kyle Williams to come in with the undercut, or is it going to be a mistake trying to go for the overcut? Will Omar Khan still be the successor here with the overcut strategy? It's all going to come down to where he comes out. Omar Khan is already out of the pit lane, coming towards the exit. Here comes the likes of Kyle Williams. It is going to be close between the two of them, as Omar Khan's still on the pit limiter. There he comes out. There's Kyle Williams just in the background. My goodness, the undercut overcut is so close, and Kyle Williams has got the slightly fresher tires from running on those tires. He might be able to gain the advantage here, and on the outside line, he's trying to look for it around the outside of Omar Khan, and this is very close racing between the top two different strategies being picked, and both of them running in such close contention, and our virtual grandstand agreeing completely. It is a close battle between all of them. Jason Wright in our TikTok live saying, let's go Cape Town, as we have actually got no longer a three-way lockout for Cape Town. Session Governor squeezes himself in there for the Johannesburg Club, and obviously it will change up with pit stops as the need be arises. But one lap warmer tires for Williams. Indeed, it is going to be slightly tight, but I don't think the one lap, especially in the BTCCs, is going to make too much of a difference. It's not like a GT3 car with their special type of tires that tend to lose pressure and temperature much faster just due to the slickness of it. These are more semi-slick tires that are made for longer duration races, and so we might be able to see the likes of Omar Khan holding on, but this is going to be a close run. 6 minutes left to go in heat number 2. Is also fighting currently for 3rd position, as we do currently see Daniel Kent and JP Gosler just a bit further behind. Session Governor has been able to work out the undercut, and he sits 3rd position. We could still see some good points here for the Johannesburg driver, who holds out in 3rd position. Kyle Williams makes the dive, though, on the inside line, coming into turn number 1, and what a great move. Kyle Williams, redemption day indeed from a poor result in race number 1. Gets himself into the top spots for race number 2. And if he can keep Omar Khan at bay, this could be great points for himself up on the board, finishing P1 in heat number 2. We'll keep our tabs open for the top 2 up in front. And when we see a switch, we'll have to go back and investigate who's done what. In the background, though, it is still Christopher Long and Gio Sakia fighting each other out. Christopher Long trying to defend from Gio Sakia, and we'll have to wait and see. It's fantastic stuff indeed from Kyle Williams. And it looks like he's generating a little bit of a gap here. 3/10 between himself and Omar Khan, but it's not enough to relieve the pressure. He's got to keep it going. There is no pillow here for him that he gets to rest on. He's got to keep it going up until the end of the line. 5 minutes to go. And Brittany Smith also along the likes of a couple of other virtual grandstand members cheering on Kyle Williams to come across the line and take the win here tonight. Daniel Kent is doing everything he can to catch up to Session Governor, but Session is locked in that I-30N and is going to do everything he can to maintain the final spot of the podium. Oretile Motsogotsele a bit further down as well. A couple of our drivers dropping off, unfortunately. 14th for the likes of Dean Jacobs, 15th for Tevin Paul. And Sean Norris, the driver who got the launch up to P1 at the starting line. Unfortunately, not the lucky break he wanted yet today. Down to 16th. Vanio Batts has also pulled into the pit lane for the past 11 minutes, and I think he's decided to pull out for the remainder of this race. Kyle Williams now sets the fastest lap of this race, and it's looking good for him if he can keep it nice and consistent. Oretile also trying to fight on strong, but not too much fighting going on in the mid-pack other than what we see up in front and what we see in 10th position with Jared Lees trying to hold on from Kitso Magia. 4 minutes left to go. It is getting extremely close between our runners here, for the remainder of this race. Jared Lees, Kitso Majia, and Kitso getting closer and closer as this race starts to come towards its closing sectors. Gio Zakia a bit further behind as well. Tevin Paul trying to make his way, and it's going to be a good one to try and see who comes out. And the virtual grand saying, Carl, on song at the moment. I've got to lean in to read what this says. On song at the moment. Keep it going. I'm not too sure what the on song means, but he's definitely on pace. I don't know what songs he's maybe got in his ear. Maybe he's got some great adrenaline pumping music going, because it seems like it's helping him out. With 3 minutes left to go. And this is going to be a great one for him. Someone goes off track there. I believe that might be the likes of Daniel Kent. Just a bit further behind. Or no, that's JP Goslet who went slightly off track there. As Daniel Kent has gotten third position to make the Cape Town a front row lockout. It is Carl to Omar to Daniel Kent. And unfortunately, Session Governor, Johannesburg driver, just a couple centimeters, I'd actually say. No, I'd say about 2 meters below me right now. Has unfortunately moved down to fourth position. And just not enough for him to defend off Daniel Kent, who's also fishing for points to make his way up the championship standings. And yes, we see the Cape Town guys are going absolutely crazy. Brittany Smith cheering on her husband, Carl Williams, up in front. 2 minutes left to go in the racing. And he's doing a phenomenal job in that purple Cupra Leon to keep himself up in front. The rest of the drivers still chasing on. Here we've got a battle, though, as Christopher Long has got so much pressure from Gio Sakia, who's trying every single angle to attack on the likes of Christopher Long. The championship leader is feeling it from third position. And the two of them in the reverse grid, unfortunately not having the luck to get back up to the top, are not going to get the greatest points here towards the top part of this championship standing. And we'll have to wait and see how that goes. 2,100 likes on TikTok Live. Make sure you spam that like button as we're trying to get to 5,000 likes by the end of the stream. We've got one more heat coming, so you've got a couple of minutes to do it. You better make sure you slam that like button, and so that we can get a couple more 1,000 follows, 1,000 views, not follows, apologies, coming towards the end of this race. But 1.5 or so minutes left. Carl Williams is starting to pull away now from Omar Khan. It looks like he might have this in the grips if he keeps it consistent for the next couple of minutes. Jared Leesk is also trying to hold on to keep it from Kitso Majia, and Christopher Long is feeling the pressure. It's the two white Cupra Leons fighting it out on track, and we're gonna have to see who's got it in the tank to get themselves into 12th position. Christopher Long holds on, but Gio Sakia looks on the inside line for a potential dive. He has to pull out, though. It's too sharp, and it was not going to work. And so he pulls back and does not take a risky dive up on the inside line. Kyle Williams, though, still leads on. And this is going to be the final lap of racing up towards the top. Kyle Williams needs to make sure this is the most important lap of this race. He needs to get it to the end with Omar Khan kept at bay in second position. Can he do it, or will he fall under the pressure of Omar Khan a bit further behind? Michael the Cock now losing out to Session Governor as they try and fight it out, and JP Goslet's moved up to fourth position as well. So lots and lots of change up and down our grid, and more drivers trying to find their grips around circuit. Kitso Majia down in 11th position, as now ever so close to Jared Leesk, coming towards the end now, and this could potentially be a dive on the inside to get 10th position before the end of the race. Our race leader still heading up towards the top part of Brands Hatch through the couple of right-hand benders. And this is going to be close. And the Cape Town guys in the virtual grandstand cheering on Kyle Williams to bring home the win. Bring home that chicken dinner and bring home the first time. No, I don't think it's the first time he's won in the Pro Series, but it's going to be the first time tonight that he brings it across the line. Heading into the final corner before we head to the checkered flag line, Kyle Williams has done everything he can. It is redemption day, nonetheless, from heat number 1. And Kyle Williams is going to come across the checkered flag line in P number 1, just ahead of Omar Khan. The Cape Town crew take first, second, and third as Daniel Kent holds on from JP Goslet. No, he doesn't. And JP Goslet gets third position over the line, and Daniel Kent loses out on the line, unfortunately. Session Governor comes in fifth position, 6th for Michael de Kock, 7th for Ralph Schuster, 8th for Derek Truscott, 9th for Oratile Motswagotele. It's going to be 10th for Kitso Majia, 11th for Jared Lees, 12th for Christopher Long, as he still comes across, 13th for Gio Zakia, 14th for Dean Jacobs, 15th for Tevin Paul, 16th for Sean Norse, and obviously Vanio Barrett down in 17th, taking the DNF. And what a inaugural race for the likes of Kyle Williams. He brings it across for a fantastic win here in tonight's heat number 2. And if you saw all the great action for heat number 2, you do not want to miss heat number 3. Coming to you in about 15 or so minutes, we've got to do a server swap onto heat number 3 for that random grid. Make sure you get something to drink, make sure you get something to eat, but ultimately, do not go anywhere until the end of the stream. Keep on racking up those likes and those emoji spams across all our platforms, and we'll be back with you shortly. 15 minutes of a wait for some great racing action.
Close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, a life destroyed. Until I woke awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Can I be your superhero? Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds jumping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Light is gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids
We go back to the racing action for one more time here tonight. It is the official starting procedure for heat number 3. The drivers are out on grid. We've got Jared Leesk up in front with Rolf Schuster just a bit further behind him with Kyle Williams lined up for the top 3 podium. The rest cascading behind in the the BTCC cars coming towards the final round, the final heat for round number 4's racing action here tonight. It is looking like it's going to be a good one with Jared Leesk and Rolf Schuster lining up on the front line. Kyle Williams just a bit further behind. The gantry lights are officially ready to go. The staff members are down on the floor ensuring everyone's all good and ready to go. It is all 4 lights going out. Just a couple of seconds and it's lights out and away we indeed will go. Jared Lee sits up on the front side of the race of the cars. Rolf Schuster will be following in just behind the trail in the BTCC cars. Rolf Schuster just trying to keep in here. Kyle Williams on the outside line being forced out in terms of the downhill right hand of the rest of the cars still following in a pretty much organized train. We'll try and keep an eye out on the rest of the grid as we did have a couple of bumps and bashes in heat number 1 and heat number 2. So let's hope that heat number 3 we can keep it slightly more consistent coming throughout the rest of this race. A couple more drivers all join in on the train of thought over here. Kitsumajia gets up into 4th position now with Kyle Williams just a bit further behind. Daniel Kent still trying to make his way up. Kitsumajia, Christopher Long also trying to make his way around, and this is going to be a great race in terms of action as it's completely chaos grid. All the cars have been completely randomized in terms of where they join. And so it means a pretty much fair opportunity depending on where you get spat out in the random wheel spin. And currently Jared Leesk has got the best chances here for a race win in terms of sitting up in front. But he does have a very quick and very aggressive driver behind of Rolf Schuster, who is going to want to take a couple of names and a couple of shame here in terms of this race. Shaming a couple of the other drivers and taking those positions on the scoreboard. And let's hope that we see a little bit of good racing action up towards the top. Kyle Williams would be absolutely ecstatic if he can round up for another win. A second win here tonight. He gets a great rotation in the random chaos. And up into 3rd position he gets Daniel Kent also up in 4th position right now with Kitsumajia just trailing a bit further behind. Unfortunately, Dean Jacobs, the driver who unfortunately tends to struggle a little bit on the more technical circuits, has in any case been given a pretty unfortunate draw all the way down at the backside of tonight's grid. And that is indeed where he starts. Michael Lecoq also right at the back with Session Govender. And Sean Norse holding on in 13th position. Gio Sakia down in 12th position. He tries to keep intact with Tevin Paul and Aratile. Matsugotele down in 10th position. Omar Khan still holding on 9th. Currently Jared Leesk up in front, holding on. Just about 18 minutes left to go with Kyle Williams and Rolf Schuster now putting in the pressure. Rolf Schuster is feeling it though as Kyle Williams moves up into 2nd position. This is looking great for Kyle Williams' 2nd possible win. If he can get up towards Jared Leesk, we'll have to wait and see if he can make it work or if he's unfortunately going to drop off of the rest of the pack here. Daniel Kent, Rolf Schuster all still pulling on the likes of Kitsumajia and JP Gosling all also within that fight. Derek Truscott is fighting hard with Omar Khan to make something work here in these first few minutes. And fortunately, this time around, all of our drivers have been able to keep in the same train. We haven't had any fall-offs here at the start of the race, and all drivers keep in one consistent line within the first 3 minutes, which is absolutely great to see, and it shows that the driving is indeed getting better as the night progresses. Daniel Kent highlighting on the backside of Kyle Williams, and Rolf Schuster just a bit further behind, trying to make his way around as well. For the time being, the top is pretty much fixated, and we'll have to wait and see if somebody is going to do something within the next couple of minutes. It's going to be a tough one, though, in the BCSO, the BTCC cars. Apologies as they keep on going around. And Rolf Schuster up in 4th position, holding on as much as he can. Jared Leesk has set the fastest lap time of the race currently. Up in front, Derek Truscott takes it away, though. And still a 1.6 second gap right now. Kyle Williams is going to have to work extremely hard if he wants to take another race win here tonight. Daniel Kent, though, is not going to make it an easy one for him whatsoever. Rolf Schuster, nor is he, just a bit further behind. It is a perfect mix between Cape Town and Johannesburg right now. Jared Leesk, Rolf Schuster closing off that sandwich with Kyle Williams and Daniel Kent, the 2 Cape Town guys in 2nd and 3rd, currently being crowded by Jared Leesk and Rolf Schuster, the 2 Johannesburg drivers. Aratile Matsugotele just a bit further down position in terms of 8th, and 9th position for Tevin Paul as he tries to make his way around and work with what he's got. Gio Sakia didn't get the greatest of rotations yet tonight, and he goes down to 12th position alongside the likes of Session Governor and Sean Norse. And Sean Norse hoping for a little bit of a redemption race today, hoping to not lose the car at a certain point. I must say a massive thank you to our TikTok live as we have gained over 9 new followers and 12,000 likes on the TikTok live stream. Incredible stuff to see, and we thank you all so much for being here and watching us. We've also got a couple watching still on the TGN main YouTube channel. And again, it is also on Facebook. If you're wanting to watch them, but our primaries currently is TikTok and YouTube for all your racing action. Daniel Kent still trailing on behind in third position. A bit of a bump there on the backside of Carl Williams. He's got to watch out there not to cause a bit of an incident, especially with drivers who are all in it for a good amount of points here today. Ralph Schuster, JP Goslet down in fifth position. They all try and work their way around and hopefully try and make their way up towards the top spots. But JP Goslet, Derek Truscott now comes into the top 5 equation and mix as he gets past Omar Khan. And now he's going to be trying to catch up to Ralph Schuster in the next couple of bits. But yeah, comes on the inside line. It's going to be Omar Khan reclaiming 6th position from Derek Truscott and moves up in that Vauxhall to claim yet another spot. Christopher Long, the championship leader, did not get the greatest rotation yet today. Down at 10th position he currently sits. He is 3 positions up from his 13th position starter. And Sean Norse also trying to make it work with Michael Lecoq just a bit further behind. 5 minutes has officially gone through, and the rest of the drivers all trying to make it work with what they've got. Jared Lees, though, sits well up in front and trying to make it work with what he's got. But it is still going to be quite a while. Carl Williams just a bit further behind, also trying to get up towards the top spots. But it does not look like it's going to be an easy one because Jared Lees pulling away with quite a good intention of not returning. And Daniel Kent is going to be trying to close in on the backside of Carl Williams in the next couple of laps. Remember that there is still that mandatory pit stop that you've got to do. And indeed, nothing but love taps that we're seeing in our virtual grandstand. Lovely to see the good terminology used over there. A little bit of love taps here and there from the drivers, giving each other a good bump. Fortunately, it's classified as a love tap as long as the car doesn't get spun around, all right? As soon as the car's around, it's no longer a love tap. Then we've got some aggravated assault out on track. But fortunately, we haven't seen any of that yet tonight. And we can continue racing. Jared Lees, another fastest lap. And he is on fire here tonight as Aratilia now steals that fastest lap away. The Mr. Consistency in the background trying to work his way up. And he's probably going to take an undercut here as he's in the middle. But there is a massive gap currently between Aratilia, Motsagotsele, and Tevin Paul. And a long way for that second train to try and catch up. Unfortunately, the rest of the cars behind Tevin Paul will have to get past him and now work back up to the main pack. Now here comes Christopher Long, the current championship leader, trying to work his way through the main packs. And we'll just remind you yet again of what those standings are looking like. So Christopher Long sits up on top with 141 points. Michael Lecoq, unfortunately not getting that good rotation. He's quite far down right now in second. And then Jess Kia currently sits third. Ralph Schuster, Aratilia Motsagotsele, Jared Lees in sixth. Currently sits first. And if you can get this up, same with Carl Williams. Both of them have had pretty good nights here tonight. And if they can get those results in, it is going to be nothing but good points across the board. Kitsumajia down in 8th as well. And he currently sits lying towards the top-hand side. Daniel Kent and Derek Truscott, your final 2 on that top 10 podium as they all try and work their way through for the remainder of this race. But Jared Lees is unfortunately starting to lose that gap. It's down to 1.2 seconds here from 1.8. And he's going to have to really work hard to keep Kyle Williams at bay. But Kyle is hungry for a second win here tonight, which will super boost him from the 6th position spot all the way up to the possible 2nd or 3rd position slot on our championship standings. And we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to manage with that one. Ralph Schuster, though, still in the background, trying to make his way and work around. But Omar Khan is starting to prove as a threat here, as we see from Ralph Schuster's backside. Just over here in the camera angles, you can see how close Omar Khan is getting. And if we go into Omar Khan's cockpit cam, he's also looking all over to try and make his way around the likes of Ralph Schuster. It's going to be a hard push for him, though, to try and get past Ralph. He's an extremely quick driver who has no intention of losing 5th position yet tonight. But Omar Khan also hungry to get up towards the top pack. They all continue circulating around Brands Hatch GP for the next 11 minutes. We're about to breach into halfway mark over here. And once again, thank you to all the sponsors of Master Drive and TGN themselves, bringing you the racing action here tonight. Some great vouchers and prizes up for grabs from the winner of the TGN Pro Series, and also that advanced driving course given by Master Drive coming towards the end of the series. Great stuff to see all over the board. And a reminder again, if you've just joined in on our virtual grandstand, either on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, that there is constant events running around TGN Racing Simulators across Durban, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. They all three have got centers that are easily locatable on Google Maps. There is action from Monday night all the way to Sunday night. Sunday, apologies. And as I mentioned, Monday, Tuesday is just your general racing. Come in, pay for it, and you get yourself a good hour on one of these extremely fancy and advanced rigs. Wednesday is your Wednesday night racing. You get all the great racing action with a couple of great drivers. And oh, again, Jared Lees, loads of bumping against the walls. That is not going to do him a favor in the pit stops. and he's lost to Kyle Williams in the pit stops due to not taking it right. He pinballs himself yet again, and I had a chat with him after the second race. He did it in race number 2, and he's done it again in race number 3. Ralph Schuster moves up to the top spot currently of the race. It's not going to be provisional, as he's still got to come in for the box, and JP Goslet, Aratile Motsogotsele also having to come in with the box. The rest of the drivers will come into the pit lane with quite a heap of drivers. Jared Leask all the way down to Session Governor. It's a train of about 7 or 8 cars that have come in to get those pit stops served. And Ralph Schuster up in front is going to start to feel the pressure from JP Goslet soon, but it depends on when he comes into the pit lane, as we are about 3 seconds out from hitting the halfway mark of the race. And there we officially have it, halfway of the Pro Series round number 4, heat number 3 here at Brands Hatch GP. And it's looking like a great running for the rest of our drivers. Ralph Schuster, JP Goslet, and Aratile, obviously. Omar Khan just on the outside of that podium in his Vauxhall, trying to make it work for that S75 car with Michael de Kock, who's gotten a pretty good rotation here, up in 5th position. Seems like the pit stops have sliced him up towards 5th, but he's still got to get into that pit box to serve it before the end of this race. A little bit of muddle over that car. He's definitely had his fair share of off tracks in tonight's racing. Gio Sakir up in 6th position still, with Jared Lees tailing behind, and Kyle Williams is now in 8th position, but he is in that provisional pole slot. He's actually lost out to Jared Lees on pit exit, and so Jared Lees is your current provisional pole sitter. It's blue versus purple coming down towards the end. It is indeed the almost halfway through, almost finished as fast as we begun. That's the thing with these 20-minute races, is that they are pretty quick once you get in the racing action. They seem long when you're not focusing that much, but when you're invested, especially on a specific driver, man oh man, does that 20 minutes fly past. As we do see JP Goslet, Omar Khan, they now come into the pit lane. Same with Gio Sakir, but Ralph Schuster and Aratile Motsogotsele both going for the overcut here tonight. 8 minutes left to go, and they are still yet to come into the pit lane. And that's going to prove to be quite a bit of a challenge here. We're going to have to see what it does to them in terms of their relative towards Jared Leesk and Kyle Williams. Kitsumagia sits the fastest lap time, though, down in 9th position. As we also can have a look towards the backside. It is still, unfortunately, Dean Jacobs down in 16th. The Sean Norse down in 15th currently. Gio Sakir takes 14th after the pit stop procedure. And Tevin Paul holding on to 13th with Michael Lecoq and Session Governor, with Christopher Long down in 10th position. Kitsumagia still in 9th position here, coming towards the end of it. And Omar Khan holding on to 8th position here as it comes towards this race. Ralph Schuster still holding on, 3 seconds up ahead of Aratile Motsogotsele. And what's happened to Aratile? He's gone off. I saw the timer ticking down, and Aratile Motsogotsele, trying to keep consistent in the overcut strategy, has lost the car, and this is going to completely ruin his chances of staying with the top pack. He's going to be falling well off into 7th or 8th position here after that drop-off, and that is unfortunate to see from Aratile. He's probably going to come into the box to get some new tires on after scraping all over, and indeed he does. But Ralph Schuster also comes into the pit box. The question is, where does Jared Lees come around the corner? And here we see him looping towards the final right-hand bend of the Brands Hatch GP circuit. Ralph Schuster is still up on his jacks. When does he come out? He's at the exit side of the pit lane, and there he's officially off the jacks. He's now heading towards the end of the pit lane, but it's not going to be enough. And here comes Jared Lees carrying much more speed on the outside line. Ralph Schuster is going to be joining right in the middle of that pack, and he actually cuts right just behind, it looks like, Kyle Williams. No, unfortunately, he cuts just in front of Daniel Kent, and so he's going to be holding on to 4th position with the opportunity to try and tackle onto 3rd, but unfortunately loses out. He loses out to Daniel Kent, just coming out of the pit lane there, so he holds on to 5th position with JP Goslet just a bit further behind him. So the pit stop strategy, unfortunately, not working too well in Ralph Schuster's favor, hoping for a bit better of an overcut, trying to potentially get into the top 3, but just not enough to get ahead of Daniel Kent, and not fast enough in his pit stop, nor out on track to make it work. Jared Lees still holding up on top, 1 second of a gap though, but here's the issue, is that Kyle Williams has lost out to Derek Truscott in the couple of last laps, and Derek Truscott moves up into 2nd position now, forcing the purple car out. The Heat 2 winner now sitting at the backside of the podium, hoping to try and contest Jared Lees. Coming towards at the end of this race is going to have to work even harder now as he attempts to move up on the grid positioning. Daniel Kent with Ralph Schuster together will try and make their way up to the top 3, but it's going to be a long ride, as we see also in the background Gio Sakir and Tevin Paul having a bit of a tussle with each other, trying to keep their paces up in the grid. Christopher Long still in 10th position, not able to get anywhere further up in front towards Kitsumagia and the likes of Aratile Motsogotsele. And Aratile would have come across there in 5th position, around about where Ralph Schuster was, if he did not lose his car into the sand there just before pitting. And it is unfortunate to see. He's still in the top 10, which is great to see, but he's going to be losing a couple of points that he really could have benefited from. And yeah, race 1 and race 2 winners fighting for P2. Indeed it is. Race 1, Derek Truscott. Race 2, Carl Williams. Both fighting it out right now for P number 2. And obviously, if something happens to Jared Leask, which we hope doesn't, as he's been able to keep a consistent pace up in front, it'll be a fight for Heat 1, Heat 2 winner for the Heat 3 win. But for the time being, they're both fighting out alongside Daniel Kent, who's joined in as well. And we'll have to wait and see. We've got someone in our TikTok live, Frank Olific, saying how to participate. So in order to participate in the TGN Pro Series, you've got to make your way down to your nearest TGN Racing Center. We've got one in Cape Town. We've got one in Durban. We've got one in Johannesburg. You've just got to head up on Google Maps and check wherever they are. As I don't always remember the exact locations. I remember where the Johannesburg one is, but not always where Cape Town and Durban are. But you've just got to head up on Google, find your nearest racing center, and you've got to go do a couple of sessions and wait for an invite to the TGN Pro Series. Once you get an invite, you'll obviously pay your entry fee into the TGN Pro Series, and then you get to race on the TGN Pro Series. You get covered by the live comms that we do here at TGN, and you get a little publicity with it, along with the great prizes if you obviously win the TGN Pro Series nonetheless. So obviously this TGN Pro Series is already in action. There's 8 rounds total, and so the next TGN Pro Series only starts after Mayside. So if you are wanting to get started, you got to join in now. Go and get down to your nearest TGN Racing Center sometime in April and start getting those qualifying laps in, and ask your one of the TGN staff members about getting involved in the TGN Pro Series, and they are sure to help you out in the process of getting into the fantastic world of the TGN Pro Series racing. Jared Leask, though, still up in front, has unfortunately lost out that gap that he was holding, because Derek Truscott is breaking down into 0.5 of a second behind. And this is going to start to get close between them all. Almost 20,000 likes on our TikTok live. Absolutely incredible. And thank you so much to all that have shown their love here in today's live. Incredible stuff and incredible scenes. Thank you so much to all of those viewers. We've also got loads in our YouTube. Currently over 140 viewers watching, which is great to see, as we have so much investment in the TGN Pro Series. And again, like I've just mentioned in the to one of the viewers, there is so many ways to get involved in the life of TGN racing simulators across the 3 main provinces here in South Africa. And so if you're wanting to get involved, it's easy. You've just got to get down to your nearest center and make it happen. But 3 minutes left to go. Jared Leask has gotten up into the podium spots over here and holding on as much as he can. Apologies, now I got confused there. Jared Leask has been there the entire time. Derek Truscott has dropped out from that 5/10 down to 1 second. And so it's starting to lose out a little bit from the likes of Jared Leask. And Carl Williams is looking like he's back on it for an attack here, potentially closing in. And this is like we were talking about on the virtual grandstand on YouTube, is the fight between the 2 first race winners. Heat number 1 going to Derek Truscott, and heat number 2 going to Carl Williams. And the 2 of them now scraping it out, coming towards the end of this race and seeing who can take that 2nd position spot on the podium. They've got to watch out for Daniel Kent, though. He could also possibly get involved. If they're not too careful, they could potentially sacrifice both of their positions to Daniel Kent if they make an error. But 2 minutes left to go. This will be your 2nd last lap of running, as you do see Jared Leask coming through the 3rd corner now of Brands Hatch GP circuit. It is about a 1 minute and 30 second or so lap time that we're currently looking at. So they will still go around one more time after coming across the checkered flag line. And Jared Leask doing everything he can to hold on. The mid-pack, though, has unfortunately started to slow down. Session Governor is on the backside of Christopher Long and trying to keep up, but there's not too much action. All the action is up front between our top runners, because all the way from 1st down to 5th position, we've got a one-line consistent train of cars all trying to breach and make their way up into different podium spots. Derek Truscott is doing everything he can to keep Carl Williams at bay, but Carl Williams is doing the same because he's got the likes of Daniel Kent right on the backside trying to get through there. And we see Oliver Kent saying push Daniel to try and get 3rd, and Daniel is doing absolutely everything he can. Now he's on the inside line, though. There's going to be contact. He's getting pushed onto the grass here a bit, but it looks like he's going to get the rotation on Ralph Schuster. And on the inside line, it is going to be a holdout for Daniel Kent, but it looks like he's going to be able to get it here. And holding on to the inside, going into turn number 1, he's going to have the advantage of rotation. He goes over the grass a little bit, and it's going to be a better exit from Ralph Schuster. So Ralph Schuster just manages to hold on there from Daniel Kent. Unfortunately, not enough to get up ahead, but he's got one final lap to get this done, or else he has to settle for 5th position. Carl Williams has been able to get into third position, holding on as strong as he can. And Daniel Kent trying to get up into fourth now and potentially try and grow his way up. But unfortunately, 40 seconds left to go. There's not a lot of time to play with here. Jared Leask has done a phenomenal job at keeping the consistency up in front. He's just got to do it for another 4 or 5 more corners. And then he gets to call it done and dusted, a win for heat number 3. And if Jared Leask takes the win here, we'll have 3 different race winners across the board for heat 1, heat 2, and heat 3, which will be absolutely great to see. In the past rounds, we usually see one of the heat winners, probably heat 1, getting the win in heat number 2 or number 3. We've seen Christopher Long do it, where he wins 2 heats in a night. And unfortunately for this time around, Christopher Long takes no wins tonight, and he just has not had the pace around Brands Hatch GP circuit. Jared Leask, on the other hand, has had the pace here tonight. For heat number 3, Derek Truscott has had the pace. Kyle Williams has had the pace. The top 3, all the heat winners, will be in the podium here to finish it off. And Jared Leask comes across the checkered flag line at the end of tonight's events in P number 1. What a great win from the Johannesburg driver. Derek Truscott will take second, with Kyle Williams taking third. Ralph Schuster takes fourth, with Daniel Kent in fifth. JP Gosler takes sixth, with Omar Khan seventh. Kitsumajia takes 8th with Artile Motsogotsele in 9th. 10th for Christopher Long and Session Governor down at 11th. 12th position for Michael de Kock. 13th position for J.S. Sakia. 14th for Tevin Paul. 15th for Sean Norse as he still comes across the line. And Dean Jacobs, unfortunately, at the backside, finishes off in 16th position tonight. And that is officially your racing action done and dusted for the TGN Pro Series round number 4 at Brands Hatch GP. It has been a phenomenal night of racing. Our drivers have done a hard and stellar job here. Jared Leask, Derek Truscott, and Kyle Williams, your 3 heat winners here tonight, will be racking up the points to take it all home. That is officially it, though, from us tonight for the TGN Pro Series round number 4. Remember that we are available all week long here at all the 3 centers. So if you're wanting to get involved in the action, or if tonight has sparked a flame inside you, then you've got to make your way down. We see all the virtual grandstand members saying great racing tonight, and GG Stall, who won. Thank you to all of our amazing spectators in all 3 virtual grandstands, whether it was TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube. You truly made the night unforgettable. Thank you for 22,000 likes on TikTok and multiple concurrent viewers on the YouTube side. It's been a great pleasure commentating this one for you, and we'll see you guys shortly in the next one. Have a great evening further, and we'll see you at round number 5.
Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a whirl. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah.